Hey everybody, Ketwolski here, checking in with another one of our hashtag Star Trek Online Let's Plays videos. This is our second part of our new Let's Play character for Lazari Seng, who is our brand new Joined Trill Federation Science Officer. If you guys recall, we actually just kind of wrapped up the first intro missions where we defended against a Klingon boarding party and defeated some Klingon raiders, and then kind of avenged our captain. And right at the end of the mission there, we did encounter some Borg folks, and we were dispatched by Starfleet Command to go ahead and try to warn the Vega colony of the incoming apparent Borg invasion. So that's kind of where we left off on the last one. So that's exactly where we're going to be picking up here. I do want to also go ahead and state that I'm doing something a little bit different this time. Instead of trying to provide audio while playing, I went ahead and did the recording, and now I'm going to provide commentary on the Let's Play through and see if that works out a little bit better, because oftentimes I find myself in a situation where I'll be playing the game and I'll forget to keep talking, and that's kind of boring, I think, for some folks. So I'm going to try this, approach instead of the other one before, where I'm doing the live commentary. So this one takes a little bit longer. It takes about twice as long to do it this way, but I'm wondering if this is going to benefit the overall capability of the Let's Play. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right on into this. Right, so begin the assimilation of the Innocent mission. Loading right up, right where we left off in the last one. Old Miranda-class ship. Okay, we've arrived before the Borg. Now my heart can start beating again. Okay, hail the colony. Managed to establish a comlink with Willa Post, the administrator. Greetings, Captain. Is there something I can do for you today? I like how she's playing very nonchalant-like now. Repeat, please. Your signal is breaking up. Did you say Borg? She's a very old lady, you know. Did you say what? I've lost contact with the Vega colony. Something is blocking all subspace signals in the area. Even our hails to civilian ships are not getting through. Okay, so let's set course for this satellite, boost up our signal. So I'm going to do a quick modification there to my... my bars, activate my full impulse. Flying much closer. Bum, 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 ba, ba, da, da, ba, da, bum. Alright, boost signal with the satellite. I see some civilian freighters out there. Our hails are still being blocked. The Borg may be attempting to isolate the planet. I think that's a pretty good assumption. The Borg are jamming up any remote signals. It's not even safe to beam through that. Okay, cool. Oh, dang. A lot of Borg just popped in. Defeat the Borg invasion force. Okay. They're using transwarp conduits to zoop in on the Vega colony. So we got some civilian ships here that need to be defended. Very Star Trek. I like it. So we're going to do some basic tactics here. Subnucleonic beam, or whatever the hell that thing is called, for the science ability, which basically just eats away at a target's shields. And then I follow that up with a torpedo attack, which essentially, drops all the shields, and then the kinetic damage of the torpedo attack essentially brings down a target's health pretty low. These are targets that are pretty easy to defeat, but utilizing this style of tactic, it makes it much easier for me to bring down these Borg targets. But to be fair, though, the Miranda-class vessel was not designed to go up against Borg planetary assimilation probes or any Borg ships at all, since they weren't really aware of the Borg at the time of the Miranda-class vessel being built. So, all things considered, I think she's doing a great job. So if you notice, I did change targets here to this Borg escort probe, because it was targeting that little shuttlecraft that I was trying to get away. So I went ahead and tried to pull the aggro onto myself so that ship could get away, of which it worked. So dropping that guy down and kind of keeping all the focused fire onto myself as opposed to the civilian ships. Again, very Star Trek, we're going to zoom into a location. Those guys are escaping, good. We're going to all zoom into a location and try to protect the civilian ships. Very Star Trek. I have short-range communications. Long-range signals are still blocked. I can contact the planet and have informed the administrator post of the situation. However, the Borg have already landed and are moving toward the colony. Oh, dang. Maybe prudent to retreat back to the Renown. Absolutely not. This is not how we do things here in Star Trek. So we are going to deal with the continuing invasion Okay, so we got a couple of Borg landing party ships coming in, at least 5. So we're going to activate full impulse to get over there. Looks like more civilian ships are under attack, so we're going to try to pull the aggro off of them to try to allow them to survive this attack and escape. And looks like we have a couple of different ships here. One is the escort probe and then the assimilation probe. So I'm going to focus on the assimilation probes just because I don't want more ships to land on the planet. I don't know if it really matters overall for the game, but you know, for the narrative that they're doing right now, that kind of is what makes the most sense. And allow the escort probes to kind of continue to slam me while I take down the assimilation drone probes, so that prevents them from taking over more of the Vega colony, giving the colonists more time to escape. And if you guys did notice that the ships, in fact, warped out, which is good because you want to pull the aggro away from them and give them opportunity to escape, let the civilians escape. Starfleet kind of doing its thing. So again, we have one more assimilation probe, 2 more assimilation probes, and then the escort probe. The escort probe is obviously going to be hitting us harder, but again, my focus is these assimilation probes. Again, to prevent them from landing on the planet and causing havoc for the civilians down there. So that's the last one of those, and then I'll go ahead and take out this last escort probe. These things always... they look like giant peanuts. I don't know, that's just what they've always looked like to me, like metallic peanuts. Alright. Go to the Vega colony. That's our next step here. Alright, we're still being damaged. Okay, Captain, the Borg have landed, and the colony won't be able to hold them off for long. Alright, let's head down. We've got Flores, Tyrell. We'll bring her with us just because I'm science. Her being tactical, she'll be able to provide a lot more of her tactical abilities on the planet. It just makes sense. It's a good balance between the two. Okay, over half the planet is already assimilated by the Borg. At any rate, they're processing the region will be overrun within an hour. Okay, understood. We gotta manually tag survivors. I'll follow your lead. Alright. So, let's do a quick check here, see what kind of equipment we've got. She's got abilities, she's got shields. Neither one of us have any armor on, which is fine. So we're gonna use our larger rifle, phaser rifle. She's got one as well. Take a look around the area here. This, you know, Cryptic gets a lot of flack for some of their graphics and stuff like that, but their world design, I think, is always very, very well done. Like, this is a very alien-looking world, giant mushroom trees, and, you know, it's very saturated, even though that's, you know, because it's being assimilated by the Borg, and right out there you got one of the assimilation probes, which is what we were just blowing up in space, and the designs look the same, like, they're similar in design, so it's like as if I missed a couple and then they landed on the planet. So we're tagging these guys and gals to get out of here, beam them back to the ship. Again, this is very Star Trek, you know, we gotta save the colony and protect the ships, warn everybody, and now we're beaming down to try to beam out individual colonists to try to prevent them from being assimilated by the Borg, you know. This is very, very Star Trek, I think. So it's still very got that feel to it. This would be a fun episode. What are they doing? Oh yeah, they're just very excited to see me. I thought they were getting ready to punch me. I don't know, it's weird. I talked to the refugee. We didn't know if anyone got our distress signal. She? Denobulan Cardassian? What is this? What is her style? What is that? That's weird. Alright, so they're giving us some armor. So these guys are beaming out. Retrieve supplies. Cool. 2 pieces of armor. Boop. And, yeah, I don't need this helpful tip. Go away. So, looks like we've got energy dampening, Starfleet standard issue. Okay, so same kind of stuff here. So each of us got a little bit of armor on, which is good. Increases our capabilities. Gives us a nice armor stat. Alright, so we're going to open up this gate. Still haven't met any Borg on the ground yet, so I assume that that's coming. Yeah, there we go. Ooh, damn, they just fucked that guy up. Or gal, sorry. Oh, wow, she actually got assimilated, like, right there in front of us. That's pretty crazy. And looks like these guys are doing the same thing. So I'm using my split beam ability on the rifle in order to hit 3 targets at once. It reduces the damage when you split it, but it allows you to pull the aggro and attack multiple targets at once. It's a benefit I like using split beam rifles. They're probably actually my favorite weapons to use, right up there with sniper rifles. But maybe that's just me. So, alright, cool. Looks like a nice picnic area right here. Oh, that guy just got beamed away. Alright, so we've got to save a couple more colonists and defeat more Borg at the Vega colony. So we've got a couple more groups here we've got to assist with. So we're going to be continuing to shoot, open fire, drones. Leave me alone! That's how you get the Borg to leave you alone. You just yell at them. Got a little coffee in me here as I'm talking. Okay, so I'm trying to activate... Here I was trying to activate the first-person shooter mode, which is what I finally got. There is a first-person shooter mode in the game. I've never used it. I don't like using it. I do like to try to use it every once in a while, but it's really kind of lame, I thought. I actually don't think there's any other fire mode in the console version. I think you only have first-person shooter mode, but I think that makes sense for a console because of the controllers, but for a computer, it makes better sense for you to use the regular aiming capabilities, you know, the auto-target and stuff like that. I do try to use the first-person shooter mode again here shortly, but it fails miserably, and I stop using it, so... Oh, they took that guy. I like how the ground is already getting, like, kind of corrupted. That's really cool. Alright, looks like we got a final stand here in front of an administration building. Save these guys. What are those? Transport? Those are transport pattern enhancers over there. I recognize that. I apologize for Kolez putting a rifle in your face, Lieutenant. It wasn't for him. The Borg would have already assimilated me by now. She just casually walks away from me, even though I'm standing here. So this is the administrator we talked to when we first arrived at the planet, in case you guys are tracking on who we're dealing with here. So even her style looks the same, so that's good. Many citizens are hiding in their homes. We cannot abandon them. We've been trying to get around the interference field. Thank you for tagging the people you found and getting them safety. Yep. Dozens hiding out in their buildings, but Kolez and I have a plan. We're going to use the pattern enhancers. Knew it. And that will do the trick. With that, the transporters will remain citizens to your help. But first, I'd like to offer you some equipment. Alright, cool. So she's giving us some more equipment. So again, the game is introducing you to the additional pieces that for your ground combat. So you've already gotten the armor. Now we're getting a basic science kit module, which gives you science abilities. And you can see there's a kit thing right there that you'll be able to do later. And then the modules that can attach to the kit. Overall, it gives you more abilities on the ground and allows flexibility and customization for your characters. So the game is essentially introducing you to different concepts without giving you a long, boring narrative piece about it. You know, it's kind of like woven into the storyline, like, oh, thank God you're here to save us. Use this armor that we've got and use this kit module that we've got. So I think it's kind of cool that the way that they, again, implement that. And I commented that on my first video during my Let's Play as well. So makes a lot of sense. I like it quite a bit. So talk to the administrator again. The pattern enhancers are working. Alright. I needed the signal citizens. We're going to hold off the Borg as long as we need to. Alright, so I'm going to... Initially I crouch here because these guys are kind of like snaking their way around the corridor, but I move up because I want to make sure that they're firing at me and not the civilians. So we do really good. That was a well-placed grenade as well. That was a good job there. And then I noticed that there's actually some kind of barriers off to the left here, and I'm like, well, it'd be kind of good if we maybe made some moves over here to kind of get behind the trash bins. So I crouch behind them, but then it basically ruins my line of sight. So then I activate the first-person shooter mode, which gives me some ability to fire at them, but I don't know, it doesn't really work out very well, so it's kind of like, you know, doesn't really do it so good, so I basically get rid of it and stop hiding behind that trash bins or whatever the hell these things are. So we had quick work of these little Borg jamokes that are over here. You can see the civilians in the background running towards the pattern enhancers, getting away, which is good. Everyone's beaming out, and then I activate my healing ability to heal Kolez, which is the same ability we just picked up that they gave us, which is like a tricorder heal. So now we're waiting on the hail from our ship. She's back there waving. Shields are back up, but more Borg vessels are warping into our location. We have detected a large generator near you. This is shutting down our transporters. Okay. Thank you for everything you've done, even though it's impossible to save everyone. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not finished yet. Kolez, you're with me, or thank you. Let's do a thank you. Alright, let's get moving. Doom 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 boom 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 boom. She uses the pattern enhancer, so we're gonna go try to disable this generator that's blocking our ability to transport, which hopefully will allow us to transport more civilians off of the planet. These folks unfortunately did not make it, and they have been assimilated. I like how there's just a couple of little drone bits like on their arms or on their eyes and stuff like that to show off the fact that they've been assimilated. Sorry folks, sorry we couldn't save you. What is this? futuristic fucking bug zapper. I don't know, it's weird. Assimilated civilian. So we're getting these guys, getting some flanking on these folks here. Alright. I know that one. We played poker last night. Well, stop gambling. Alright. Laying these guys up. Ooh, that was a well-thrown grenade right there. That worked out good. Alright. A couple more civilians are going downtown. Alright, let's head on down here. Okay, so we're at the bottom of the assimilation probe here, and there looks like the Borg are activating the transport inhibitor. That's doesn't look like a transport inhibitor. It looks like a giant, I don't know, letter opener. We need to disable the force field. Okay, cool. So we're going to disable the force... Whoa, that's a nice butt shot there. So let's do a quick heal on him, because he's not doing so good. Don't want him to die. Alright, so we got a couple of tactical drones heading our way, so we're going to do some top-down fire on them to, get some good crossfire, so we don't have to get too close to them so they don't start hitting us. Drop these drones, pretty easy. So now we need to disable the force field generator. Okay, disable. It's a good thing that this is on the outside of the shield generator, not the inside of it. Borg 101. I like that name. And he beamed down some buddies of his, but we've got grenades. 2 grenades out. Nice, beautiful. Alright, the ship is transporting anyone they can get a lock on, but we don't have much time. Alright, so we're getting off the planet as well, saving a lot of civilians, as much as we can. Again, very Star Trek, love it. Okay, we've packed to the brim with civilians, Captain. I don't think we can fit one more soul on this ship. Communications are still jammed, so we can't reach the Renown or the Kittimer. The immediate problem is the civilian ships in the system. Okay, can we reconfigure the satellites to warn everybody? Yep, message won't get very far, but anyone who enters the system will get the signal and be able to turn around before it's too late. Alright, so that seems to be like the plan. So what we're going to do is reconfigure all these little beacons and utilize them to warn off any civilian ships that are entering the system, unbeknownst to the fact that the Borg are assimilating the planet. So we're reconfiguring multiple probes. So 3 probes just dropped on us. So we're going to, again, use the same kind of tactic. We're going to utilize our beam to drop their shields and then have the torpedoes zip in and do the kinetic damage. We're getting pretty hard here with these 3 probes, these 3 giant Borg peanuts. They're hitting us pretty hard, but that's all right. So our ship has got a brave, intrepid crew, and therefore we will defeat them. So cool. We're getting hit pretty hard still, though. If you actually do notice on the planet now has like a green tint to it, and you can kind of see like some greenish lights coming off of the continents, which is representative of the fact that the Borg are assimilating it, which is a nice little like detail touch that it looks different than when we beamed down there the first time. It's a nice little detail that they added to it to kind of coincide with this, the plot that's going on right now, which is the fact that the planet is slowly being turned into a Borg hive. So, alright, heading towards the next long-range orbital array. Why won't it activate the ability? Okay, reconfigure transponder. Alrighty. There's some debris out there. I wonder if that's going to come into play. Okay, a Borg sphere. So this is very easy. Tachyon beam, that's what it's called, not subnucleonic beam, sorry. So again, we drop their shields with our tachyon beam, hit them with their torpedoes, does that good kinetic damage, and we're just melting the health off of this thing here. We're getting hit pretty hard, but we're doing really good here. We're doing good DPS overall against the Borg sphere. And she's down. Cool. That's a much more difficult target to take down as opposed to the Borg peanuts. Alright, and we have one more beacon to reconfigure. So we're jumping onto full impulse. Still more debris field out there. I don't know if that's part of the story. I don't believe it was, if I recall correctly. So defeat the Borg cube. Whoa! I remember when I was playing this actually alive. I actually got startled by the fact that the Borg cube just jumped right in on me. I was completely unaware of the fact that it was happening, but our abilities here do not really work well against the cube. We use tachyon beams and the torp, style of tactic, but it doesn't really do much. But thankfully, support fleet arrives, and they help us defeat these guys pretty handedly. So we're doing really good. We're much closer to the Borg cube than I would obviously like, but we're hitting it pretty hard, and I'm still utilizing my tachyon beam to bring down their forward-facing shield, the one that's facing the fleet that's arrived, to try to help make sure DPS is getting to it. Because we're still doing good damage ourselves, so but we do want to go ahead and roll away from them. We don't want to be too close to them. And I just now noticed that there's a million more cubes that have warped in at the same time. So I think we're a little outgunned here, but we're going to destroy this cube. I think for the sake of being able to say we destroyed one. It disappeared, and then it reappeared. And now it's destroyed. Okay, cool. Talk to Captain Volok, who I think is on either the Renown or the Kittimer. I think he's on the Kittimer. Yep, we headed to Polox, sent a signal out to Starfleet. These are the closest ships. Others will be arriving soon. I don't think they're going to be able to save the Vega colony, though. At least not right now. There's way too many Borg cubes around the planet. So our job right now is to return to Earth Space Dock with the Kittimer, and we need to report to Admiral Quinn. So we got a couple of experience points, phasers, all that good stuff. Alright, we're going to head immediately to warp to Earth Space Dock, and we've got a new bridge officer, which is the guy we picked up. Coles, or Colas, however you want to say his name. He's the guy that we just picked up on the Vega colony. So we are on our way to Earth Space Dock. Bum, ba, bum, 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 ba, bum. That's a really great screenshot. That's a mean-looking KDF Warrior. You can tell they're KDF because they got the KDF little badge there on their uniform, and I think they're wearing the Vodwar jacket, if I had to guess. It looks what it kind of looks like to me. So, all right, welcome to Earth Space Dock. So I've been playing this game so long that I remember what it was Earth Space Dock used to look like, and I must say that the redesign for Earth Space Dock to include Space Waterfall, hashtag Space Waterfall, it is so much better. The one that we had before was alright, but it didn't scream, the majesty, the pomp and circumstance that Earth Space Dock deserves, and this one definitely does. So this is a great redesign on their part. It's a beautiful redesign. So I've always really loved their redone on this, and there's so many things going on Earth Space Dock that we'll do a little walkthrough here another day, but not today. So right now I'm just checking out, seeing what other people got here. So giving this guy his weapon here. Got some new equipment. I don't need provisions right now, so we'll just discard them. And then we've got ourselves, I think this is a new engineering console that we can equip. So we're getting some cool equipment for our ship and stuff like that. And right now we have to go meet Admiral Quinn, who's in charge of kind of like Starfleet Command operations. And in case you got lost, they have this really bizarre blue light that teaches you how to get straight there. So here we go. Here's Admiral Quinn. Greetings, Lieutenant. We have a lot to discuss, Cadet, even though you just called me Lieutenant, but whatever. Yes, I see the report transmitted by Captain Volok. He granted you a field promotion to give you seniority over the rest of the active crew on your ship. Yes, that's true. Facing off against Klingons and a Borg invasion within hours of leaving Starfleet Academy. Very unusual. Well, that's true. That's quite the story that we have here. Don't worry. I have statements here from Captain Volok and Yim and Willis Post from Vega Colony corroborating your story. What, was he not going to believe me? I like that. Like, it sounds like you're making this up. It's too fantastical. It's bullshit. On a side note, this guy's yapping and bapping. If you take a look on the back right corner, you can actually see a tactical map going on that's happening between us as Federation against the Klingons. That has the Sirius sector block. So there's a lot of information going on between the tactical, the strategic level information between the two forces that are happening the Klingons and Starfleet. I wonder as the storyline goes on if that image changes, because obviously we reconcile with the Klingons and then we go to war with a million other species by the time we get to Endgame. So I wonder if that image changes. I'm gonna keep my eye out to see if that updates as our priorities change. So anyways, we got a bunch of equipment from Admiral Quinn. We got a new mission, Stranded in Space. We need to go find out what's going on with the SS Azura. Is more than 20 hours overdue. Your orders are to head out to Sector Space and find the Azura, blah, 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 blah. We're going to get a bunch of really cool equipment as well. So let's go ahead and exit. And that's basically it. So he gave us the ability to redesign our Miranda-class ship, but I'm not going to do that. Mainly because I think the Miranda is beautiful all by itself. And also I'm not wasting my time doing that. So got a new phaser, got a new tactical console, which improves our phaser capabilities, phaser damage overall. And so we're going to go ahead and get the heck out of here. Alright, so we're back out inside of the Sol system. Earth space dock is right over there. So I'm going to do a quick modification to my skill tray. I got to add evasive maneuvers on there, which is a great ability to utilize, especially when you're in a tight spot, to get your ship moving around. And we just got these shield batteries and weapon batteries from Admiral Quinn, so I'm going to be utilizing those and putting those on there. So for me personally, I never like having my bridge officer abilities also on my toolbar. There's too many things that eventually start to add up, but the fact that I have them abilities already listed out underneath my bridge officers, I don't need them. So I usually keep them off, but I keep my defense abilities on the bottom and offense abilities on the top bar. That's just kind of how I do it. So, alright, so everything's good to go. We're going to depart the system here. And actually, real quick, I'm going to make sure my stations are good. Kolaz has the same ability as Flores, there's no reason to change them. And I'm going to quickly build my standard away team. Got my 2 tactical officers, 1 science, and 1 engineering. So every time I go to beam down, that's who's going to come with me. It's not really important now because I just have that many bridge officers, but as time goes on, you can kind of set certain things up so you have certain people on your space crew and then certain people on your ground team. It doesn't really matter if you have them overlapping or not, but some people like it differently, so it's however you want to play. Okay, cool. So, we are going to open our map, and we need to head out to the distress call of the SS Azura. Which is here inside the Vulcan sector. So we're going to go there. A couple of cool ships flying around. So right now we're at a lieutenant, so once we get to the next one, we'll be able to get tricorder scan science ability. And then, as you can see, we've got more abilities as we level up. I think level 10 is when we get our first new ship. So it shouldn't take us too long to get to that level, but we just got a little bit more to go. Because right now we're at level 3, but we're almost to level 4. And I think by the time this Let's Play ends, I think we're at like closer to like level 6, if not level 6. So, but let's go ahead and zip past this stuff here. Okay, Stranded in Space, next mission. So we have to rescue the Azura Captain Brat. Please help, we are being pursued by Orion Raiders. So if you guys don't know, in the Path to 2409, which is when this Star Trek Online initially takes place, the Klingons have essentially joined up with Orions and I guess Gorn / Nausicaans to build up a conglomerate of bad guys. And I think the Orions are kind of assisting the KDF. I don't believe that they're subjugated by them like the Gorn and Nausicaans are. But the Orions are kind of assisting the mayhem that the KDF is providing for Starfleet. So they're the bad guys right now in this storyline. So sensors are picking up several light attack craft on an intercept course. Okay, cool. So, we got 2 corvettes dead ahead, so we're going to do the same thing. Again, tachyon beam, drop down their shields. Their shields are down, and then we're going to open fire. And 1 torpedo does it. The kinetic damage is more than enough, and I'm going to go ahead and activate my high-yield torpedo bit. And that guy's down as well. So he also dropped some items for us. which is cool, plasma infuser and more weapons batteries, which is great. And we're going to do a quick scan on these veteran particles. So these particles exist both in space and on the ground missions, and you got to do like a quick little action with your keyboard keys in order to match the waveforms up. You match the waveforms up, you get the particles. These particles are used for, oftentimes they're used for crafting, or you can sell them, whatever you want to do. So we got a new weapons battery, so we'll add that one, and this is for plasma energy, but our weapons are all phaser based right now, so that's not going to help us. So you want to marry up your tactical consoles and stuff like that to the flavor of weapons that you're using. So right now, since all of my weapons are phaser based, we're going to stick with the phaser console that we have equipped already, that we got in the previous mission. So the SS Azura is getting its butt kicked right now. We just went ahead and made quick work of that first Corvette, and we're going to eliminate this second Corvette. Nice and easy. Alright. Man, the Azura looks messed up. That thing is leaking radiation. So, alright, we're going to come about, hit it with our tachyon beam again, drop their shields, and then our torpedo did the work. Alright, so we're doing a quick scan of the ship. I'm detecting elevated radiation levels on the Azura. Okay, cool. So we need to get down there. There's our waiting that we picked out just a minute ago. That's a beautiful looking ship there in that screenshot. Alright, so let's talk to the transporter chief. I'm concerned about the radiation on the Azura, blah blah blah. Okay, whatever. Okay, it's beam over. So how do I get over there? Yeah, when I actually did the Let's Play, I did not read that. So then I decided to go and stare at the door. And then I go stare at this other door, and then I casually then realize I'm supposed to be on the transporter pad. So that's what I get for not actually reading the text. So it's my own fault. Alright, cool, just beamed in. So, got our abilities, busting out our weapons. So we've got a couple of things we need to do. I'm picking up multiple life signs. Some of the crew and others are Orions. And we have plasma leaks blocking our path to survivors, so we got to take care of that as well. Okay, so let's do a quick run around this room, make sure there's no cool crates or anything like that to get equipment from. The answer to that is no. So obviously that's one of the plasma leaks. So let's go into here real quick. Looks like we've got something on the map that's telling us we need to be in there. Ah, there we go. The crewman that we have to save. So again, in this situation, because I have played this mission several times as both tactical and engineering and science, for tactical, you are able to do some work later on that damages Orions that beam in to try to ambush you. For engineering, you're actually able to save the Azura from its containment breach, and the ship is able to be salvaged. But you're not able to do the other abilities, and these people die. And then, of course, for the science one, you're able to save these additional crew members and get them to be beamed off. So each one of the career paths gives you your little ability to kind of do more stuff in the missions. So again, it's very similar. Not every mission has this, and it's kind of weird because it like dips down like halfway through the game. Like they stop utilizing these different career path specific missions, and then they kind of pick back up again towards the end. But overall, I think it's kind of fun that you have the ability to do different things based off of the choice that you made for your specific career path. I think it adds that extra depth to the game, and it's a little sad too, because when you play as an engineering or tactical, you don't get to save these crew members. They die. They just die. There's nothing you can do, and they die. So it's kind of sad. And then also, I mean, if it's playing not as an engineer, the SS Azura blows up, which is also sad. That these people lose their home and their livelihood. So as you can see, just like in space, there's also a ground one, and I'm activating this just to show you guys again. It's the same exact thing. You use your keys to match the red waveform up to the blue waveform, and you get some crafting abilities. And occasionally you'll see these little crates filled with stuff. This was all garbage, so I didn't even pick it up. I don't want to fill my inventory. So we got our second crew member that we're healing. Their black eyes definitely scare the shit out of me, that's for sure. So, and we're moving down the hallway. I don't know if the Orions intentionally caused the plasma leaks to separate the crew, or if that's like just, part of the fact that they are damaging the ship. I don't know, it's weird, but whatever. So got two Orions in this room. Got another down crew member over there, but let's go ahead and grab this item. Medium hypo, that's worth it. So okay, and then here's the console to disable the plasma leak. Cool, so that's good to go. Now let's go get our final crew member that we're going to utilize. Alright, good stuff. Feeling much better now. I like how they all look the same too. Are they clones? Are they like sisters? Like, what's going on? It's very strange. So, alright, so we've reached the engine room. Located the warp core. Zavara. Scanning the warp core now. Catastrophic antimatter containment. So that was our engineering officer telling that. Captain Brott, who we met on through the communications. Okay, they met an Orion ambush on the way to K7. K7 is one of the other star bases in the area used for trading hubs for civilian ships, in case you guys didn't know. Alright, so she asked us to basically get the crew out of here. So, again, there's more stuff over there. I don't do crafting, and I don't need this equipment right now, but I do want to go ahead and show you guys. So if you do the scan on the warp core, right, and then it tells you, oh yeah, if you had engineering training, you'd be able to complete that optional objective, and which would have been really great. And then here, when you step back out in the hallway, a bunch of Orions beam in for an ambush, and if you were tactical, you'd be able to activate like stasis fields or something like that to injure them, so it aids you in your ability to get the crew out, which is the one that console that we just ran past. So, but it's all good. We're using our abilities. Take out these Orion brutes. Thankfully, these guys go down like butter, and having the full away team makes everything so much easier. Having the full team with you is great. So, cool. Getting. I don't know why you guys had to run all the way up into them like that, but whatever. Small hypo, that's worth it. We'll take. Dun 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 dun. Alright, cool. And doors opening. Let's get these guys back to the transporter pad where the other civilians are. Go to the transporter room. We'll be right behind you. Okay, cool. Are you ready to transport? Cool. I don't like the fact that the other civilians that we saved are not on the transporter pad. I think it's just because the video that activates it doesn't assume, like, they don't have a separate video per career path, so it's just this, you getting the same ending video that any career path would get, which is alright. It's so weird. Like, the attention to detail is really high in some areas, but then low in others. Like would it have really taken 15 minutes for them to create 3 separate videos based off of your career path? You know, to show, you know, the extra effort that you put in to save those people, which you didn't have to do. It's optional objective. You know, it's so weird. It's, you know, it's just weird that they cut corners in certain areas and not others. So, but it's our turn now to get off the ship, because more Orions are inbound, and we need to get back to the bridge in order to defeat them. So, we're beaming back over. Dun, 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 dun. So, yeah, again, we got the 2 people that they're just assuming we saved only 2 people, but whatever. And we're going to use the turbo lift to get back to the bridge. Cool. Okay, incoming message from the Orions. An Orion captain. Nice headdress, woman. So these guys think they're going to intimidate us, but they don't know who we are. We are the crew of the USS Clamato Juice. Alright, so same tactic as usual. I know I keep repeating myself, but I keep saying that because a lot of people don't understand tactics in this game. Like, they just start clicking on a million different abilities and just overlap everything, and they hope they do really good. But there is a method to the madness, especially once you start to get a dozen or so abilities that overlap with each other that can benefit each other. There's a method to ensure you're getting the best DPS and doing the most damage to your enemies. So, but here we are using our tachyon beam, and you can see the shields melting very slowly. They're not all the way down like they were before, but they're definitely way further down than they were before. So our phasers are mopping up the rest, and then our 2 torpedoes do that nice kinetic damage on it as well, which is always good. And we're making short work of this thing. I'm going to go ahead and pop one of my weapons batteries here real quick as well, just to kind of just to kind of do even more short work of this little battle cruiser, the Slave Master battleship, which is just such an aggressive title. Cool. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Take items. New engineering console. New science console, which is great. Okay, now we need to rescue Captain Brott of the Azura. Okay, cool. Rescue Captain Brott. Okay, attempting to get transporter lock. Boosting containment field. So we're able to save her. But again, it's always nice when you're the engineering officer because you get to save the ship. But it's also kind of fun to watch the Azura blow up. Cool. So we've got her, which is great. That we take her and her crew to sector space. Speak with the captain real quick. She thanks us. That'll do, Captain. That'll do. So, and that concludes this mission. We are able to save the crew of the Azura from Orion. So, count them so far. We've got Klingon enemies, Borg enemies, and now Orion enemies. So the Federation is under attack from a lot of different areas. But so we just got promoted to level 4, and we're almost actually to level 5. And now we're being tasked by Joel Quinn, Starfleet Command's Operations Officer Lead, to go ahead and escort Ambassador Soketh to the monastery on Pajem. Which means we get the opportunity to go to Vulcan. And again, the game is slowly introducing you to a lot of the capabilities. So now we're on like a diplomatic mission. It's not so combat based, which is great. And we're also getting the ability to kind of explore some of the more iconic planets that we, as Star Trek fans, would of course want to visit. You know, there's really nothing to do on Vulcan. There's a couple of things there, but having a mission there where we get to actually visit it for a reason, I think just, you know, adds to the fact that, you know, it invites players to go to a planet they may or may not have actually went ahead and visited without a reason to go there. So, you know, kind of combining those things together gives us an opportunity to visit a lot of these cool locations. And, you know, going to Pajem is great. You know, we only got to see Pajem in, you know, a Star Trek Enterprise episode where the Enterprise crew encounters the Andorians for the first time. And, or is it the first time the Andorians are encountered? I can't remember. But they encounter the Andorians there trying to look for, you know, a secret hiding outpost, this, you know, spying outpost on Andorians that the Vulcans had, which they did. So that was like always a cool, fun episode to watch. So it's cool to be able to visit that planet as well in this episode. So here we are, just arrived at the Vulcan system. And we are going to go around this sun here as we power over it. And then we're going to go ahead and enter the Vulcan planet. And so here we are, warping in over the planet, one of the really nice star bases that are above it. We've arrived in the Vulcan system, and they've contacted the Ambassador's aide. So basically we find out that Ambassador Soketh doesn't like utilizing transporters for some bizarre reason. Red flag, hashtag #1. And then so we need to go ahead and fly down there on a shuttlecraft, which is the first time the game introduces us to the fact that there are even shuttlecraft in the game. So very cool. So we're boarding our shuttle, and we're going to land on Vulcan. And there are several. There used to be a PvE mission where you were only played as a shuttlecraft. I liked it. There is a Romulan mission where you have to defend a planet as a shuttlecraft, as like a fighter crew against like a Walker invasion on a planet, which is one of the most annoying missions ever. I hated it. I still hate it to this day. But there is a PvE space mission where you play as a shuttle and utilize, you know, kind of, you know, different abilities and stuff like that. There is one also for the Dominion War story arc where you have to like infiltrate Deep Space Nine on a shuttlecraft, and so you have to like have it decked out with equipment and stuff like that. So utilize it sometimes, not always. I personally think that it's utilized just enough so that it's not annoying, but it adds a variety to the space combat. Okay, so here we are. You got to see us fly into Vulcan. We're on Vulcan right now. First time ever in this game that we get to be on Vulcan. And, you know, it looks great. It looks exactly what you would expect Vulcan to look like. Although the giant fire pillars are, I think, a little much, but that's okay. And so Our task right now is to head to the plateau of contemplation. And link up with Ambassador Soketh so we can leave the planet. So we are on our way up this little ability here. Now there's more to the planet than just this section, but we're only going to stop here for right now. We have to come back to Vulcan for a separate reason later on, and we get to actually view the main Vulcan temple / Catcher that's on the other side of this plateau. So here we are, Ambassador Soketh. Are you ready to leave? So he's complaining about the fact that he's being denied access to the monastery of Pajem for what he's viewing as no reason. Savin, who controls I guess who comes and who goes to Pajem, is preventing him from going, which is hashtag red flag number 2 for me with this guy. Why is it that he's being prevented from accessing Pajem? But our job isn't to investigate that. Our job is to get him there. So we're going to do our best to facilitate that process. So we're going to go talk to Savin and see what's his beef with Soketh and see if we can't get them to let him go. So he's, of course, thankfully right here, standing next to this really bizarre-looking Vulcan, I guess, artifact or monument. So Soketh says you won't permit him to leave. So he gives us a lot of information about Soketh that basically says that because the planet is sacred and he's worried about infiltrators going there, like Klingons going there and damaging the planet, he's very, wary of people going there for no reason. And Soketh refuses to disclose his reasons for going there, which is hashtag red flag number 3 for me. And we ask him to allow us to visit Soketh to Pajem, and he agrees, but only if we swear on our honor as a Starfleet officer, which is so starkly different from the way we're being treated now to the way like Jonathan Archer was treated a couple hundred years prior by the Vulcans, who basically thought that humans were dumb and couldn't be trusted and that they were foolish. But now they are like, listen, we trust Starfleet so much that we'll allow some serious stuff to happen as long as Starfleet's there. It's just fun to see the contrast of the way that we're being treated as the respect has slowly built up. So this guy really loves giving us the LLAP sign. So, alright, let's head out of here. So our job now, he agreed to let us go if we swear on our honor to protect everything. So our job right now is to take him back to the shuttlecraft, which you can see parked down there. So we're on our way down. You know, I like the inclusion of the fire pillars, especially since this is like a plateau. It's like a contemplation thing, but it's like, you know, who lights these things? Like, I don't imagine, like, Vulcan monks getting out, like, a DeWalt and getting up there with, like, lighter fluid and, you know, trying to start these fires. Or what if wind happened and, like, blew the fire off the top and, like, it hurt somebody? It's just not safe, Vulcan. Hashtag safety first. Alright, so we're boarding the shuttle. I'm gonna get the hell out of here. We have flogged your flight trajectory and are cleared for departure. You know, the Vulcan flight control is very serious. You know, they don't mess around here. So, alright, so we're leaving the planet. Ambassador Soketh is on board with us, and he wants to go meditate for a while, which is whatever. So we're going to return to our bridge, and we are going to plot a course to head over to Pajem. So let's get the heck out of here. That's a Tholian ship next to me, by the way, in case you guys were wondering. That was in the bottom left corner of the screen. So, look at that. Beautiful Miranda class. Okay, cool. So, Pajem, of course, is right next to us, so we are going to plot a course. And there it is right there. That's the Pajem Sun, and Pajem 1 is right there, so we're going to go ahead and fly right towards it. And we are going to continue our mission. Okay, so picking up unusual energy readings in the system. We should scan the system before moving forward. So let's go ahead and do a quick scan. So this is interesting that there's Klingon birds of prey just hanging out above Pajem, which goes to show just the lack of information that the Starfleet intelligence has. So they're telling us that we have a foul shapeshifter aboard our ship, which is hashtag red flag number 4. But we ask for proof. They get offended because we're insulting their integrity, and therefore we have to fight them and destroy them. But anyways, so we're going to use the same tactics as before. But again, the fact that the bird of preys are so close to Pajem, which is like, which is right next to Vulcan. It's in the Vulcan system. We're, a hop, skip, and a jump away from Earth. But there's a squadron of bird of prey fighters right here. So it's just kind of crazy to see just how much Starfleet has so many holes in their security and their capabilities of defending the sectors, even sectors so close to Earth, from massive, subterfuge and intelligence gathering by the Klingons' cloaking devices. So just an interesting thing to note. So he says, "You fools!" Arrgh! So we don't believe him that there's a shapeshifter aboard the ship. If I was captain of the ship in real life, I would be way more concerned about what's going on than these guys, which is apparently not at all. So our long-range sensors have detected that there are Klingons on the planet, so we are beaming in to try to secure the planet of Pajem. Captain, we need to secure the area, blah, 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 stay alert. Okay, cool. So, got our abilities set up. Our toolbars are ready to go. Got our phaser guns, and we are going to go ahead and liberate the Monastery of Pajem. Now, take a look at the architecture here, which is very much almost like Elven mixed with like a Rohan style of architecture. It reminds me a lot of the buildings from Battle for Middle-earth 1 and 2 that the Vulcans used. Or the Vulcans, that the Elves used in Battle for Middle-earth 1 and 2, which is a great RTS game. If you guys haven't played it, I recommend picking that up. Good mods for that game, too. Fantastic game. But anyways, the buildings look very much elven in nature, which I think is great, because that's kind of, the Vulcans are the elves of Star Trek, I would say, in a lot of ways. And so it's no surprise that they have very similar architectural styles from a design perspective. And again, they've done a great job. Like, look at the unique light posts there that look Vulcan. We just ran past one of the Vulcan monastery's memorial monument pieces that we just had on the right there, and just the design of everything going on, I think, is just really well done. Cryptic really knows how to build a planet, I think. Some planets, very few planets, are not designed well, but I think the majority of them are done to a degree that allows you to feel as though each one is unique in its own way, because this feels different than any planet we've been on up to this point, as it should. So they did a really great job. I love the unique light posts that they have. I love how there's stairs kind of built into the hills, but the hills are also available because it's like a combination of peace and balance with the nature of the planet mixed with an architectural piece of necessity. Like the Vulcans that built it were like, logically we need steps here, but logically we don't need steps here. So we won't damage the planet more than what we need to, or change the planet more than what we need to. So I think that's really cool. So we're here at the top of the hill, again looking at the cool Vulcan Elven architecture. There's a floating rock over there, and I kind of get a little ambush here by the Klingons. But again, we make quick work of these as a team. So, and they dropped some good equipment here for us, new armor, which was surprising that we actually got that, and a new plasma assault weapon. So we're gonna go ahead and get this stuff equipped real quick to everybody. So you're gonna get some of this, and I'm just throwing all this stuff onto them. They use it as they will, so that's not better than my primary weapon. And I could equip this as my secondary, but I think it's better to kind of divvy out the DPS capabilities. Having a decent weapon as my secondary doesn't help, because it's just it's not going to benefit me at all. Now, if it was a sniper rifle, I would have swapped it out for my secondary, because it's always good to have a sniper rifle and like a split beam or an auto rifle to do different types of fire modes. But it's just a plasma blast weapon, so it's not important. Okay, so we just got hailed from the aide to Pella, who's informing us that Ambassador Soketh's body was just found in a containment cell inside of his house. So they believe that Soketh that we just took with us is an imposter, which obviously adds up to all the different red flags we've had up to this point. So he is beamed away off of the ship, and he is coming down to the planet to confront us. So let's go ahead and continue on. Such emotion on your face. I see now my deception has been exposed. That's my shapeshifter voice. It's not very good. Capturing the abbot, who is like the Pope of Pajem. Maybe that's not a good analogy, but whatever. And the weak shall perish. That is the hashtag slogan of the Undine, which of this is guy who he is. So he's an Undine shapeshifter. And again, in the Path to 2409, Admiral Chakotay is put in charge of different departments in Starfleet Intel to try to root out Undine infiltrators in senior Starfleet command positions. So the storyline kind of adds up to the Undine being a threat to all species in the Alpha and Beta quadrants. So, but we made quick work of him, utilizing my abilities, and then now he shapeshifts into a Klingon in order to try to escape. Why should I trouble myself with such insignificant beings? Spoken like a true badass. This is how I go down steps. Very quickly. Very dangerous. These guys are just hanging out. Even though they hear all this this firefight happening up the steps. They're just hanging out. They're drunk off of blood wine, no doubt. Kapla! Okay, so we are following the shapeshifter, known as the Undine. And this also, again, adds up to everything that we've experienced up to this point, which is the fact that the Undine, the shapeshifter, was what the Klingons were looking for to begin with. And ironically, because we're at war and we're not able to communicate with the Klingons in a peaceful manner, we were not able to learn the truth. Which, you know, again, just adds up to how war is terrible for all of us. So, cool. So we got a little bit of an ambush there. We've made quick work of it. And now we are heading down the steps. Or I guess the ramp, I guess would be a better way to put that. And he's going to be disappearing here shortly. There he goes. And we are going to make quick work of these Klingon Warriors on the planet. So... Dun, 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 dun. Alright, cool. What do they got for us? Small hypo? Yeah, we could take that. That's pretty cool. Okay, again, look at that elven-style structure. Even the round door that happens on there, which is great. I think that's great. I love the design of the buildings in Pajem. I always have. I wish there was more to do here, but there really isn't, so you don't really get to visit this architecture again. But the architecture is similar to that on Vulcan, so again, they're keeping that aesthetic feel, but it looks a little bit different because it's on Vulcan, so there's like a little bit of a design difference. But they keep the architecture very similar, which I think is great. So our job right now is to defend ourselves from the Undine ship that I guess was in orbit for 60 seconds. Bottom line is, we do not do good against this Undine ship. We use our same tactics as before, but you can clearly see their shields are not dropping. Our tachyon beam is doing nothing. So I'm essentially kind of dropping all tactics, and I'm going to do my best to just do as much damage to their shields as I can while waiting for reinforcements. So doing my shield heals. I'm waiting to pop my weapons battery until after the reinforcement fleet arrives. And we're going to continue on the tachyon beam just to try to, again, whittle down their shields. But we're getting our butts kicked. My forward shields are down pretty hardcore. And our hull is below 75%. You know, the ship's got a lot of damage to it. The Undine ships are pretty difficult. You know, later on in game, you know, you cut through them like butter. But as a level 4 lieutenant with a, you know, old Miranda-class vessel, you know, getting slammed with these giant Undine torpedoes, it's just not very good for us. But our Federation fleet has just arrived, which is great. So, and our job right now is to defend ourselves and assist in the destruction of the Undine ship. Which again, even as all these ships arrived, you know, there's a good handful of ships, including a Galaxy-class vessel that's there. We have difficulty bringing this ship down. It's not easy, and I'm still activating my tachyon beams. to try to again whittle down their shields so that way more kinetic damage is being done to it. But we're slamming this ship, and it's still at 89%. And we're hitting this thing hard. This thing is harder to take down than the Borg cube, which again I guess kind of resonates as to why the Borg had such difficulty defeating the Undine, if you recall that storyline stuff from the TV shows and some of the books. And even in this game we go through that piece as well. So we're still doing good damage. Now we're starting to do really good damage right now. We're still getting hit really hard. We're at 64% hull. I don't have any hull heal abilities, but I do have shielding heal abilities, which I keep popping as soon as it comes up. But it's got a very long cooldown timer, so that's always not so fun. But as an engineering officer, we'd have had, I think, a hull heal at this point, which is like any emergency engineering abilities. But I like our tachyon beam abilities and stuff like that. So, and again, since we're doing science officer, we're going to have different abilities as time goes on. So our shields are dropping very low. I did already pop one of my weapons batteries. I could have popped a shield battery, but I didn't want to waste it because I wasn't sure if they were going to beam in, warp in, excuse me, more Undine reinforcements, so I wanted to save it just in case, because we had it down to 36% health at this point, so we were definitely winning, even though we were being specifically targeted by these Undine torpedoes, but we were doing alright. We were maintaining our capabilities well enough. So, and then the Undine ship continues to get its butt kicked. Lighten it up, Undine ship. And again, it's holding on, like, it's holding on really hard, and, you know, if it was just us, we would have gotten our butts kicked several times. Unfortunately, right here, as the ship explodes, we also go down with it. The kinetic damage from a nearby ship exploding does damage your ship, especially if you don't have the brace for impact capability, which we don't have, so, you know, it is what it is. It happens. But that was the first time we've been defeated, so we are respawning and scanning the debris for information. And we downloaded data about the ship, the Undine Dreadnought that we just destroyed. Captain LaForge is on the USS Challenger, which is the Galaxy-class ship that's there. So that's pretty cool that we get to meet up with LaForge, who just reappeared in the brand new expansion. So he's like, you know, 10 seasons away from us, 14 seasons actually away from us, so we got a lot of seasons to get to, but we'll meet back up with him shortly. So, alright, now we've got a Hail Starfleet to report on what happened. The ambassador was an Undine, so you see, like, they're not super surprised by this, because again, the narrative is that Starfleet Command is aware of what's going on with the Undine at this time. So we just reached level 5, and we got ourselves 1 space skill point and 1 ground skill point. You use these skill points in order to purchase, well, skills, 1 for space, 1 for ground, and each one kind of gives you passive or potentially even active abilities. So I'm using that one, and then I'm going to use the ground skill point to pick up one for you want to pick ones that benefit your style of play mixed with your career field. So you kind of want to pick ones, if you're an engineering officer, you kind of want to pick the engineering ones, or vice versa. Like for me, like occasionally I'll pick the more tactical ones since I don't have the ability to activate tactical stuff. I want to go ahead and do more weapons related things and stuff like that to give me an extra boost that a science officer wouldn't normally get. But it all depends on your play styles, and it all depends on how you want to do it. So I purchased my abilities, and that is it. We are going to go ahead and continue on this Let's Play series by visiting the Lackey system and conducting the mission Hide and Seek that Captain LaForge just gave us. But that's it. This includes our video. I know that was kind of a long one. I hope that you guys and gals enjoyed it. Please throw a like and a subscribe up on YouTube if you did, and throw a comment down below and tell me how you guys view and think about this new style of Let's Play. Do you like the webcam version with me doing live commentary, or do you prefer the one where I kind of talk after the fact and do a bit of a commentary like that? I'm curious to hear what all of you guys and gals think and prefer, and we'll utilize that style of play as we move forward in the game. So again, thank you guys and gals for watching, and I will see all of you next time. Live long and prosper, my Trekkies!